Welcome to the Get Trauma Informed podcast, dedicated to unraveling the complexities of trauma, its pervasive impact, and the journey towards holistic recovery and realignment. If your radiance has ever felt muted, like I and thousands of others, you're in the right place to reignite your inner light. I'm your host, Wellness Coach Liz Blanding, and this is the Get Trauma Informed podcast. Hi, and welcome to a special episode of the Get Trauma Informed podcast. I had the opportunity to share the vision of the podcast in an interview, and I wanted to share clips of that interview with you today because there was very, very key, important information that was shared, and I just wanted to put that out there and give you the opportunity to glean from the information in the interview. So here I am, a very special podcast. I guess in a sense, I'm interviewing myself here, but I want to share that with you. So enjoy. And this is personal for me. The reason that I wanted to go down this journey of podcasting and of bringing this information to you is because for me, I have walked through this journey of coming out of the shadows of silent suffering. Coming out of the shadows for me means that I no longer have to walk in fear, that I can be my full self, that I can play full out, that it's like gathering up all of your shattered pieces and being able to live full out. Being in the shadows felt like I was walking around as an imposter. We talk about the imposter syndrome in our recovery course and in our recovery certifications and classes. We talk about that. And a lot of people say imposter. I'm not being an imposter, I'm being who I am. But no, when you're walking in imposter syndrome, you never feel like you are this amazing, incredible person, but you don't quite add up to that, if that makes sense. You don't quite cut it. And so you're always working at, like you're in a room full of folk, and it always feels like you should not, or you got invited, but like, who invited me, or why am I here? Ooh, when you first asked that question, it brought tears to my eyes, because the person that I've always known that I am finally showed up, right? And so now I'm not afraid of walking into a room full of people, because now I know I belong there. Now I know that the work that I've done on myself, the work that I have, or the dream, the vision that I've always known could be possible, I'm now walking in it. And so when you're walking in your purpose, it feels like I finally met my purpose. My person met my purpose. And so now that I'm able to walk in that purpose, I'm able to show up without being heavy, without being afraid that someone was going to pull the covers off of me and, ooh, you're not who I thought you were going, who you presented to be, but I am who I am supposed to be. And I keep getting better and better and better and better. And that's what's available to all of us. We just have to go into ourselves and come out of the silent suffering, receive the help and assistance and the resources that are available. How do I feel? I feel absolutely incredible. I feel absolutely amazing. I plan on living full out as the example in transparency. I was looking at a clip the other day of Judge Lynn Toller, and it absolutely inspired me, because the one thing that she said was she was not ashamed, because just because something traumatic happens to you and your brain no longer functions, and we're going to get into that as we go through our podcast and as we go through bringing experts and resources together. But when you talk about a part of your brain not functioning properly, think about it as, she talked about not being ashamed. And the world, that's why we're talking about the Get Trauma Informed podcast, because the world puts a shame and a blame on mental health, on, if you suffered post-traumatic stress, PTSD, if you suffered any of those things, the world puts this shame and this blame and this stigma on you. But when she came out and talked about no shame, no guilt, no any of that, I so identified with that. Because now we can pull the covers off of this and say, look, this is real. You can't just take a whole segment of people that was hurt or that was collateral damage because of somebody else's, somebody else's rant. So we got hurt. And instead of offering that help, society pushes you in a corner and puts this shame, blame over your head. Well, I say with the Get Trauma Informed podcast, we're gonna shout that out loud, that there are resources and there's ways to come back to your full self. There are ways to be able to not just survive, but thrive. And there's a huge difference in that. I feel like I just came from surviving all these years and walked into the wonderful world of thriving. And there are so many people out there that are suffering in silence, that are walking with this shadow over them and just hoping that nobody discovers who they really are, but on the other hand, wanting to be who they were purposed to be. So with all of these resources and everything available, I'm pulling all that together so that we can start to recover and realign. Because remember, trauma was not your fault. However, recovery is your responsibility. Wow. In that, I wanted to dig that interview out to let you know what is coming up. The Pathway to Trauma Recovery, our phenomenal book, is finally available. We will have the launch party on Saturday, August the 17th. 2024. Too many S's in there for me. But at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, it is going to be a phenomenal virtual book launch party, y'all. We are going to party and we are going to celebrate. Because trauma is so heavy, right? We do need a community around us that's going to help to elevate us out of the fog of trauma, out of the shadows of trauma, and into the life and the purposeful person that we were intended to be. If you want to get involved in the launch party, and we are going to have gifts, we're going to have giveaways, we have a special phenomenal appearance by the phenomenal Marcus Ogden, who wrote the foreword to the book, right? So he's going to make an appearance as well. And so it's just going to be a great time for us to understand and meet some of the authors. And so if you want to be a part of the Facebook group, as we are celebrating countdown to the launch, Pathway to Trauma Recovery pop-up book release, 13 global authors, you can reach out to us on Facebook, right? You can always send us an email if you want a special invite to info@oasiswellnessctrs.com. info@oasiswellnessctrs.com. Let me tell you a little bit about the writers in this book and why it's such a phenomenal collaboration, right? We have one doctor of theology. We have two doctors who have degrees in divinity. We have one naturopathic wellness coach, two certified trauma recovery practitioners, three certified life coaches, three CARCs, certified addiction recovery coaches, and certified abuse recovery coaches, four spiritual counselors, five ministers who are trauma survivors, have all suffered and survived trauma, and are contributing co-authors in this book. We believe there is a spiritual base to healing the hurt. It would help if you decided for yourself, based on compelling due diligence, right? Your due diligence, right? In knowing exactly what you need to do to put together your self-care plan for recovery. So I hope this has encouraged you to step out and join us in the Get Trauma Informed movement. We say get trauma informed so that you can what? So that you can live full out and your person can meet your purpose and develop your passion, right? And I'm just so excited to be a part of this phenomenal team of authors. And I look forward to you being a part of our book launch party. We are excited. We are excited to bring this information and bring the tools to help us to finally come out of silent suffering and into our marvelous self. Don't forget to mark your calendar for Saturday, August the 17th, 2024 at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If you get involved in the group, which is on Facebook, Pathway to Trauma Recovery pop-up book release, if you get a part of that, you'll be able to get the link to the Zoom, right? And you'll be able to be a part of this amazing, amazing movement. Alrighty, I hope this information has helped you, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside of our book launching party. All right. I will talk to you next time. And as I continue to say always over and over again, trauma was not your fault. However, recovery is your responsibility. Alrighty, bye for now. It's time to buckle up. No more suffering in silence. Our Power Pack journey to recovery and realignment starts now. Remember, you were collateral damage on someone else's warpath. Trauma is not your fault. Recovery, however, is your responsibility. I'm your host, Wellness Coach Liz Blanding, and this is the Get Trauma Informed podcast.